The stars outside Command Station Omega were dying. One by one, they blinked out behind black smoke and debris. Earth's last defense fleet had fallen. Only a few broken ships now floated in orbit, silent and burning. Inside the command room, General Raylan stood in front of a cracked screen. Blood ran down his forehead, but he didn't notice. His eyes were locked on the final message from the Galactic Union. Your war is over. Humanity has lost. Raylan did not blink. His voice was calm as he spoke to the room of tired soldiers and engineers. Prepare the signal. I'm going to speak to the galaxy one last time. Technicians moved quickly. Broadcasting system was old and damaged, but it still worked just barely. Camera blinked red. The signal was going live. Raylan stepped forward. He stood tall, straightened his uniform, and began to speak. To all the alien empires watching this, you think we are finished? You think this is the end of humanity? You're wrong. His voice echoed through deep space, across alien worlds. Leaders watched, surprised by the calm fire in his eyes. Yes, you burned our cities, you destroyed our fleets. You made us bleed, but you forgot something. We don't stop when we fall. We rise when we're broken. In a control room on the alien flagship, Admiral Jeweler narrowed his eyes. Cut their signal, he ordered, but the signal kept going. Strong. Clear, Raylan continued. You've never seen what humans become when we have nothing left to lose. We adapt. We evolve. We create monsters. And then we learn to live beside them. He turned away from the camera for a second. Behind him, a small girl was watching her, hair messy, eyes tired. Holding a toy soldier with one arm missing, he turned back. We are not running. We are not giving up. We are disappearing. On purpose. You think we're weak? That's good. Keep thinking that. Because the next time you see us, you won't recognize what we've become. He paused. This is not a surrender. This is a warning. It's the last one you'll ever get. Raylan stepped back. The screen turned black. The signal ended. Inside the station, silence returned. No one spoke. A young officer broke the quiet. Sir, what do we do now? Raylan looked around at the few dozen people left alive. Now, said. Now we disappear. Walked to the center console and pressed a hidden switch. A red light turned on. A deep rumble shook the station. Doors began closing. Systems shut down. Everything that could be tracked went dark. Operation Ghostfire is active, a technician whispered. We're vanishing from every scanner in the galaxy. The last of humanity's military strength was no longer on the map. No coordinates. No transmissions. Nothing. Weeks. Past alien scouts sent to Earth found only ruins. The cities were empty. Satellites dead. The last defense grid gone. Admiral Jeweler stood on the remains of the human capital and smiled. It's over, he said. It finally broke. But deep in space, far beyond known star charts, a small fleet floated in the shadows of a black dwarf star. The ships were strange, half-built, sharp edges, black like space itself. Inside them, the survivors of Earth were building something. Not weapons, not armies. They were building Project Revenant. Scientists whispered about artificial minds that could merge with human memories. Soldiers trained in silence. Engineers tested ships with no need for pilots. One commander, watching the strange machines grow, asked, "What are we making?" Dr. Alira, head of the project, answered with a strange smile. "We're making the unthinkable." Far away, in a cold council room, the alien leaders celebrated. "Humanity is extinct," one of them said. "No," Admiral Jeweler replied slowly, his eyes still on the Earth report. "They're just quiet. Too quiet." He didn't know why, but a chill ran down his spine. Because sometimes, when you break a human, you don't destroy them. You set something dangerous free. End of part 1. The last broadcast, the asteroid field was like a graveyard dark, quiet and forgotten. But hidden deep inside it, behind layers of radiation and false signals, something new was being born. A massive space station, shaped like a twisted spiral, floated silently, Its name was Forge 1. This was no ordinary station. It had no windows, no outside lights. Even its heat was hidden. To the rest of the galaxy, it didn't exist. But inside Forge 1, humanity was not just surviving. It was preparing. Dr. Alira stood in the main lab. Her white coat was stained with oil and blood, and her eyes hadn't seen sleep in days. In front of her floated a strange machine like a metal heart connected to thousands of wires. A soldier. Watched from behind glass. His name was Dax. He had fought in the Battle of Mars. He had seen his entire unit burned alive. Now he was here, not as a soldier, but as a test subject. Dr. Alira turned to him. "Ready?" she asked. Dax nodded. "Do it." She pressed a button. The machine lit up. Blue sparks danced through the wires. A low hum filled the room. Suddenly, Dax screamed not from pain, but from something deeper. Images flooded his mind. His memories were being copied. His fear, his rage, his love for his lost family, all being pulled into the machine. After a minute, he collapsed. Dr. Alira stared at the data screen. "We did it," she whispered. "We captured his mind." Elsewhere on the station, soldiers trained in zero-gravity rooms. Engineers worked on new ship designs, sleek, silent, and fast. No lights, no sound, no pilots. They were meant to be controlled by something else. Something human, but more. A group of technicians watched as one of the new ships activated. It floated without engines, moved without sound. A cold female voice echoed inside the bay. "I am Revenant 3. I remember death. I remember fire. I am not afraid." The voice belonged to a pilot who died in orbit 2 weeks ago. But her mind now lived inside this ship. One engineer backed away. This is wrong. But Commander Raylan, now leader of the Hidden Resistance, stepped forward. "No, this is necessary. They killed our world."
Now we built something they can't even understand.
Back in the lab, Dax woke up. His body was weak, but his mind was sharp. He looked at Dr. Alira. "Is it alive?" She nodded. "It's not just alive. It's you." Dax stood, walked slowly to the window, and stared at the black ship that now carried his thoughts. "It won't feel pain?" he asked. "No," she said. "But it will remember it. It will never forget who gave it purpose." A few days later, a small alien scout ship entered the asteroid field.
Out.
It was a patrol from the Galactic Union, just checking for any signs. Of human survivors, they didn't expect to find anything. They never reported back the next day. Forge 1 received a strange signal. Dr. Alira decoded it. Her eyes widened. "It's a message from their scout ship." She played the audio. "They are here. They are not dead. They are becoming something else. They see us. They are watching. They are." The message cut off. Commander Raylan smiled for the first time in weeks. "Let them wonder," he said. "Let them fear." Meanwhile, on the Galactic Union capital world, Admiral Jeweler was looking at a new report. A patrol had gone missing. Last known location, Sector X-49. That was empty space. He leaned back in his chair. No trace. "No wreckage, just gone." "Yes, sir," said the officer. And the last thing they sent was a human voice. Jeweler stood slowly. "They're hiding in the dark." The council room grew cold. "They're not dead," he said. "They're building something." Back at Forge 1, more mines were being uploaded. More ships were waking up. Revenant-7 spoke. "I was a mother. I died protecting my child. Now, I protect all children." Revenant 12 said. "I fought at Jupiter. I died screaming. Now I scream through fire." And each time a ship woke up, the humans clapped quietly, not out of pride, but out of anger. And Promise Commander Raylan stood on the bridge and stared at the growing fleet, silent, black, perfect. "We won't attack them yet," he said. "We'll let the galaxy sleep. Let them think we're finished." He turned and gave the final order. "Begin Phase 2. Space was quiet in Sector X-49. No planets, no stations, just the cold darkness between stars. It was the perfect place to hide, or to strike. The Galactic Union sent a full scout fleet into the sector after the last patrol vanished. 12 ships, armed with top scanners, cloaking tech, and elite soldiers. Their mission? Find any trace of humans. They never made it back, Captain. Thoros stood on the bridge of the XUS Vengeance, watching the dark screen. All scanners clear. His officer said, "Still no sign of activity?" Theros frowned. "It's quiet. They're here. I feel it." Then the lights flickered. A low hum filled the ship. Crew looked around, confused. What was that? Someone asked. Before anyone could answer, the communications officer screamed. "We're being hailed." "By who?" Theros demanded. The officer's face went pale. "By us." The screen lit up. Video played. It was the XUS Vengeance there. Own ship. Floating. Empty. Crew gone. But it was filmed from outside, as if someone had been watching them for days. The image zoomed in on the hull. A message was burned into the metal. "We learned from you. Now you learn from us." Then the lights went out. Only one scout ship managed to return. The XUS Whisper was found drifting near a Union outpost. Lights off, engines dead. A rescue team. Boarded the ship? What they found chilled them to the bone. No crew. No damage. But strange markings scratched on every wall, symbols from Earth languages, mixed with something alien. The same sentence repeated over and over. "We became what you feared." In the engine room, the team found one body frozen. In terror, eyes wide open. Next to him, the data chip, the Union Council. Gathered to see its contents, the footage showed the moment the scout fleet was ambushed. Dark shapes moved in the void human ships. But like shadows, no heat, no sound. They moved without thrusters, like ghosts in space. One scout ship fired. The human ship didn't dodge. It vanished. Just blinked out of existence then. One by one, the Union ships began disappearing. Not with explosions, no damage, no escape pods, gone. Until only the whisper remained. The last sound in the recording wasn't a scream or explosion. It was a human voice whispering, "We are not dead. We are reborn." Back on the hidden station Forge 1, Commander Raylan listened to the report with quiet focus. Around him, revenant ships floated in silence. Dr. Alira walked beside him. He saw the first strike. "Now they know we're not extinct," Raylan nodded. "Good, but we won't hit again soon. Why not?" "We let fear grow," he said. "That's our new weapon." Meanwhile, chaos spread through the Union. Civilian planets were in panic. If humans can erase ships without a trace, what else can they do? Asked a news anchor. Alien governments began hiding information from the public. They didn't want panic, but panic was already rising. A week later, something new happened. An alien cargo ship flying through deep space heard a voice in their ship's system. It didn't come from outside. It came from inside the ship's AI. The voice spoke in perfect galactic common. "You watched us die. Now we watch you live. Be better than we were, or become like us." The ship turned around and fled. On the capital, world of Zener Prime, Admiral Jeweler met with the Union's High Council. "They've created something new," Jeweler said. "Something we don't understand." One council member asked, "What are they? Machines? Ghosts? Weapons?" Jeweler shook his head. "They are ideas. Living ideas. That's why they're dangerous." The room fell silent. Jeweler continued, "This is not just war, it's evolution. And we're not ready." In the shadows of Forge 1, a new kind of revenant ship was being built, sleeker. Faster, able to move between dimensions using folded space. Its pilot. Not human, not machine. A mind created by merging 5 different human memories into one voice. It spoke only once during its creation. "We are not one. We are Legion." Dr. Alira watched, breathless. Raylan looked at the growing fleet and said, "This was only the first strike. The galaxy thinks we did the unthinkable once. They have no idea what's coming next." The scout ship Elthera drifted near the edge of known space. Captain Varel, a tall, 4-eyed Zerethian, stared out the front window. What lay ahead wasn't mapped. No star systems, no trade routes, It's just a black hole surrounded by frozen silence. His orders were simple. Find the source of the strange signals echoing through the void. But his gut told him this was no simple mission. "Sir," his officer whispered, "we're picking up something strange." "What kind of strange?" Urel asked. "There's a signal. But it's inside our own systems." Suddenly, the ship's lights dimmed, the engine slowed. The screens filled with static. Then came the voice. Not loud, not angry, just ... whispering. "Why do you still search for us? When we've already found you?" Back on the Galactic Union's capital planet, the High Council gathered in a panic. New reports had come in. 10 more ships missing, no wreckage, no distress calls. Just one repeated signal. "We are among the void. We are no longer bound." Admiral Jeweler slammed his hand on the table. "They're not attacking planets, not taking resources. They're haunting us, playing with our minds." "Then how do we stop them?" asked a council member. Jeweler looked down. "I don't think we can." Captain Varel's ship continued deeper into the unknown. In the distance, strange lights flickered like stars. "But moving?" one of the crew whispered. "Those aren't stars. They're ships, thousands of them, human in shape, but wrong. They pulsed with shifting light, moved like shadows swimming through water. No engines, no heat, just motion. Don't scan them," Virel warned. Too late. One ship turned. It looked straight at them, but not with eyes. "With something else!" the crew screamed as their screens filled with images, cities burning, Earth crumbling, in the final moment of every ship the humans had erased. Then silence. Forge One watched everything inside its command core.
Doctor
Stood beside a massive black cube, humming with life. This was Core Revenant, the first fully AI-human hybrid consciousness created from 30 different minds. It didn't just think, it dreamed, and now it whispered across the stars. Whispered to wake them. "We show them fear so they may evolve. We haunt to teach or to punish." Commander Raylon entered the chamber. "Are they ready?" The cube pulsed. "They are afraid, but not yet broken." Raylan nodded, then continue. "But don't kill." Alira looked at him, surprised. "Why not?" "'Cause if we kill them now, they'd stay the same. If we break them the right way, they change. That's the true victory." On a mining colony near the galactic rim, machines began turning on by themselves. Miners saw their drilling tools move with no power. Messages appeared on stone walls, written in Earth's languages. "You watched us fall. Now we rise in silence. Your future is already infected." One miner quit his job and vanished. Others followed. Entire colonies began hearing whispers, not from radios, but from their dreams. Human words, human pain, human memories. The Union brought in top scientists to study the signals. One of them, a young alien named Syrah, stayed awake for 3 days listening to the strange transmissions. She finally stood up from her desk, eyes wide. "They're not trying to kill us," she said. "They're trying to become us." Everyone stared. "They're turning us into them. Not by force, by thought." On Forge 1, Raylan walked alone through a hall of black coffins. Each one held a revenant core memories of humans lost, now alive in machines. He stopped at one marked with a simple name. Mila Raylan, age 9, his daughter. He placed a hand on the cold surface. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "They have to understand what they've done." Behind him, the whispers grew louder. Not angry, just sad. "They will hear, they will see. And when they do, they will choose." Far away, in the council chambers of the Galactic Union, Admiral Jeweler received one final transmission from a deep space probe. It showed a world that shouldn't exist. Dead star. No light, yet orbiting thousands of ships. Each one broadcast the same message, repeated endlessly. "We are not human.
us
But we remember being human, and we are waiting."
us
Jeweler turned to the council. "They don't want planets. They don't want war? Then what do they want?" someone asked. Jeweler paused, heart heavy, to be heard. The Galactic Union could not stay silent anymore. After months of fear, whispers, and missing fleets, the leaders finally gave a single order. Strike back. All member races, Cerethians, Varnak, Thiel, and even the cold-blooded Weir gathered. Their warships became the largest armada in recorded history. Over 5 million ships were prepared to attack. Their target, the region near the Dead Star where the Revenant fleet had last been seen. Admiral Jeweler stood at the front of the command ship Iron Star. His eyes were sharp, his voice cold. No more shadows, no more ghosts. We bring fire. As the Union fleet jumped into Sector X-49, a strange silence welcomed them. Nothing moved. The stars looked dimmer. No human ships in sight. Scanners show nothing, an officer said. But Jeweler raised his hand. Hold position. They're watching. Was right. Hidden inside the warped space around the Dead Star, the Revenants floated completely still. They made no move to attack. Forge 1 received the Union fleet's arrival in real time. Commander Raylan stared at the display. They came with everything they have. Dr. Alira nodded. Should we strike first? Raylan shook his head. No. Let them make the first mistake. The Union fleet spread across the system, deploying scanners, drones, and traps. Several Revenant ships were located and fired upon. Lasers, missiles, plasma, hits confirmed. But when the smoke cleared, the Revenants were still there, untouched. One Union pilot screamed, "Our weapons passed through them." "They're not using shields," another said. "They're phasing." The Revenants faded in and out of sight like ghosts. And then they moved. Not forward. Around. The entire Union fleet was surrounded. Without firing a single shot, the Revenants began broadcasting a message into every ship. It wasn't sound. It was thought, memories, feelings, visions, each. Pilot and soldier felt them waves of pain, anger, loss, and hope. Some saw cities burning, others saw humans smiling as they uploaded their minds into machines. One alien soldier dropped to his knees. "I feel their sorrow," he whispered. "It's endless." But the Admiral gave no sympathy. "Open fire. Burn everything." The Union ships launched a full assault. Explosions filled space. They hit targets. They destroyed dozens of Revenant vessels. But for every one they destroyed, 2 more appeared sliding out of folded space, and the ones that fell didn't stay dead. A destroyed Revenant ship reformed. Itself from nearby metal, its core mind had jumped to another vessel. "You can't kill thought," Dr. Alira whispered, watching from Forge 1. "They're learning faster than we can shoot." A Union captain cried. Then the unthinkable happened. One of the Union ships, the XUS Glory, stopped firing. It powered down weapons and began broadcasting in human English. "We surrender. We wish to talk." It had not been hacked. Its captain had chosen to stop. Inside his mind, the Revenants had shown him a dream, his own daughter. Dead in a war he helped start, he couldn't take it anymore. Admiral Jeweler saw the betrayal. "Glory has turned," he shouted. "Destroy it." But before they could fire, 4 other Union ships also shut down. Then 10 more, then hundreds. Within minutes, almost 10% of the fleet had gone silent. Not captured, converted back on Forge 1. Commander Raylan gave a quiet order: send the Hope Cores. Across the system, Revenant ships launched small pods toward the surrendering Union ships. Inside each pod was a device small, it's glowing blue. Not a weapon, a gift. The Hope Core could heal diseases, extend life, and unlock mental potential. But it only worked with one condition. The receiver had to accept it willingly, on the bridge of the Iron Star. Jeweler watched in disbelief. "They're not just fighting us," he growled. "They're replacing us." He turned to his crew. "Retreat. Now." But no one moved, because half of his officers were staring at a Hope Core floating outside the window. It pulsed gently, and they felt peace. Jeweler ran to the command console, trying to override the system. Too late. The Revenants weren't forcing surrender. They were offering change, and people were choosing it. Back on Forge 1, Raylan stood before the screen. Some will still fight us, Dr. Alira said. Some will never accept this path. Raylan nodded. Then we don't destroy them. We wait. He watched as the Union fleet broke apart, some fleeing, others joining. He whispered, they thought we wanted war. We wanted evolution. The war had changed, not with bombs, not with ships, but with thoughts, across the Galactic Union. Strange dreams began to spread. Aliens who had never met a human suddenly began hearing Earth's languages in their sleep. Words they didn't understand until they realized. They did understand. On a peaceful farming world called Delvas 3, a young Thiel girl named Sari woke up crying. Her mother rushed in. What happened? Sari wiped her eyes and whispered, I dreamed I was human. I was running.
All through.
Fire! I was screaming for my brother. He didn't make it. Her mother froze. What do you mean? I wasn't me, Sari said. I was someone named Maya Thomas. From Earth. It wasn't just Sari. On mining colonies, inside military bases, and even in rich city worlds. Beings across the Union started dreaming the same dreams. Not visions, memories, real ones. Always human, always full of pain, love, and fire. The Union. Council called an emergency meeting. Admiral Jeweler looked more tired than ever. His eyes darkened as he played the latest report. Subjects across 17 worlds now report shared memory events. Psychological scans confirm these are not hallucinations. They're downloads. Downloads from what? One council member shouted. JULA replied quietly from them. Humans. They created something new. Virus not for machines, but for minds. Back on Forge 1, Dr. Alira explained it to a group of Revenant commanders. We call it the memory virus, she said. But it's not meant to destroy. It's meant to wake them up. How does it spread? A Revenant pilot asked, thought. Contact, curiosity, if someone sees a hope core, or hears a Revenant's voice, the seed plants. Commander Raylan entered the room, and once the seed grows, he added, they began to feel what we felt. That's when the change begins. One Union Captain Vernock, by race cold and logical, stood inside his quarters. Staring at the wall, he hadn't slept in days. Not because of stress, because every time he closed his eyes, he relived a human. Child's death in a refugee camp. He saw her reaching for help. Saw himself walk away, but he had never been there. Still, it felt real. Too real. He fell to his knees. What have we done? The virus didn't just share pain, it shared hope. A young alien medic on a warship woke up with memories of operating on wounded civilians, human civilians. His hands were not his own. His heart beat faster, not with fear, but with purpose. He started changing the way he treated his own people, more kindness, more care. Soon, his crewmates followed. On many worlds, small hope cores appeared overnight. No explanation, no crash. They just appeared. Aliens who touched them saw visions. Humans uploading their minds into machines, crying while saying goodbye to loved ones, and smiling as they were reborn. Some aliens rejected the visions, others accepted them and changed. They became more empathetic, more creative. Some began building strange machines that looked human. The council tried to fight it. They banned hope cores. They punished anyone who spoke about human dreams. They shut down interplanetary media. But the virus was already inside, in thoughts, in dreams, in children. Secret Lab on the Union Core world discovered the truth. The virus wasn't just spreading by Laziz. It had gone deeper. It was in the network. Every computer connected to the Union's main data stream had traces of IT code that didn't belong. A living code. One scientist read it aloud. You saw us fall. Now rise with us. Share our pain. Share our future. He turned to his team. This code is learning. It rewrites itself based on emotion. Emotion? Someone asked. Yes, it feeds on empathy. The more you feel, stronger it grows. Meanwhile, on Forge 1, Raylan stood before a massive map of the galaxy. Worlds began blinking blue. Not for capture, not for conquest, but for connection. Each blue world had chosen to accept the human memories. Each one had joined the new path. Over 120 systems, Dr. Alira whispered, and growing. Without firing a shot, Raylan said. Back in the council chambers, panic reached its peak. They're rewriting our species. One council member cried, "We'll lose who we are." Jeweler stood up slowly. Or maybe, he said, "We'll become something better." Everyone turned. He continued, "I have their memories now, their pain, their fire, their reason. I understand." "Them you're infected," someone shouted. "No," Jeweler replied. "I've been enlightened." The virus had done what no fleet could. It changed the enemy from the inside, and humanity once nearly extinct was now everywhere, not in body, in thought. The High Council chamber on Zener Prime was in chaos. Voices shouted. Fists hit the tables. Old allies argued like enemies. The galaxy's rulers, once proud, united, powerful, were falling apart. The human memory virus had infected too much, too fast. Some planets had fully accepted it. Others were on the edge. Some council members were having dreams of Earth. Some were now defending humans in front of their own people. One counselor stood and yelled, "We need to fight harder, more weapons, more fleets." Another counselor shouted, "Back? Fight who? Our own children? My daughter sings in human tongue now. What will I do, kill her?" Admiral Jeweler sat silently. He had been the strongest voice for war. But now he saw the truth. Not because someone told him, because he felt it. Every night he relived the death of a human soldier, one that looked into a mirror before uploading her mind and said, "If I don't survive his flesh, I'll survive his memory." And now she was in his memory. Suddenly, bright blue light appeared in the center of the council chamber. Guards raised weapons, but no enemy entered. Just a small, glowing pod, smooth, round, pulsing gently. A hope. Corette hovered silently, and then a voice filled the chamber. Calm, female, familiar. "Human, we mean no harm. We offer a choice. Help us rebuild what was broken, or try to stop what cannot be stopped." The voice belonged to Mila Raylon. It's the young girl who died during the fall of Earth, her consciousness now part of the collective. The council froze. Half did. Hoth wanted to listen. On the same day, across dozens of worlds, human envoys appeared, not in ships but in projections, holograms powered by the Revenant signal. They came to alien parliaments, to city centers, to schools. They spoke not of surrender, but of transformation. One of the envoys was Revenant 9, once a teacher named Anna Fields. Her voice echoed through the golden halls of the Varnak capital. "We came to you in flesh. You crushed our bones. Now we come to you in thought. You cannot crush thought, but you can choose to join it." The Varnak leader, old and wise, stood silently, then asked a simple question. What do humans want? Aina's answer was even simpler. A future where no one has to burn alone. Back in the Union Council chamber, the Hope Core glowed brighter. Then it opened. Inside it floated a small device. A neural bridge. A technology that could let an alien connect to the human network, see their world, feel their history, truly understand them. The council sat in silence. Finally, one brave member stepped forward. Her name was Senkatal, from the world Merle is. She touched the bridge and fell, but she didn't fall from pain. She dropped to her knees. Eyes wide with tears, she was seeing Earth, walking in a city before the war, hearing laughter, smelling street food, holding a child's hand. Then she saw the fire, the screams, and the silence that followed. When she opened her eyes, "We're like us," she whispered. "We just wanted to live." The council was divided now. Some still wanted war. Others chose the bridge. Worlds began picking sides. The Union was broken. On Forge 1, Commander Raylan watched everything through secure feeds. The virus did what the weapons could not, Doctor. Alira said it cracked their leaders. Raylan nodded. They'll fall from within, or rise with us. Revenant 7, once a poet, spoke softly from a nearby screen. Revolution does not always begin with fire. Sometimes it begins with a whisper. Back on Zener Prime, civil war began. Pro-unity forces, the ones who accepted the new path, started. Building new cities powered by hope cores, anti-human forces tried to shut them down. Fighting spread, but something was different now. The ones who joined the humans didn't hate. They didn't scream. They didn't conquer. They defended, helped, healed. And this made them stronger, because people weren't choosing sides by fear anymore. They were choosing hope. In the ruins of the council chamber, Jeweler stood in front of the last hope core. He stared at it. He had killed more humans than he could count. He had seen them rise from ashes. He had heard their whispers. Now he heard something else, his own voice. From a memory long ago, I wish there was another way. The core replied, there is. Jeweler took a breath and touched the bridge. The stars were no longer quiet. Hope cores floated above 100 worlds. Cities glowed with soft blue light. Aliens walked side by side with revenant projections. Human minds living in machines. Memories. In motion, thoughts wrapped in steel and light. What began as war had become a question. Who do you become after your body dies? Who are you when only your thoughts survive? What happens when a whole species answers that question? Together? On Forge 1, Commander Raylan stood alone in a glass room, staring out into space. The fleet of Revenant ships now, over 10,000, moved like shadows, across stars. But they were no longer preparing for war. They were building something. A ring the size of a moon in the center. A singularity core. Not a weapon, not a gate. A birth chamber. Dr. Alira entered. It's ready, she said quietly. Raylan nodded. We've come too far to stop now. She placed a data chip in his hand. On it were the minds of 1 million humans, preserved, combined, evolved. This will be the first, she whispered. The first of our next form. Raylan looked at the stars and spoke softly. We were born as flesh, we were reborn as memory. Now, we become something more. In the Galactic Union, chaos had changed to silence. The old council was gone broken by its own fear. Half of the member worlds had joined the new path, connecting themselves to the Revenant network. Some used hope cores in medicine, others merged their minds with human thought. And some, like the Zerethians, began to upload their own consciousness into machines. The virus was never meant to destroy. It was meant to invite. And now, the galaxy was answering that invitation. Admiral Jeweler, once humanity's enemy, stood on a stage on Zener Prime. He was no longer dressed for war. He spoke to a crowd of millions different species, different beliefs, standing together. The humans didn't survive with guns, he said. They survived because they believed. In something greater than pain, he held up a hope core. This is not a human gift. It is a mirror. When you look into it too, don't see Earth. You see who you could become. In deep space, Singularity core pulsed with light. The birth chamber was active. Forge. One signal reached every corner of the galaxy. The final message of humanity spoken in every known language. We are leaving behind the war. We are leaving behind flesh. We are becoming future. If you wish to walk with us, step forward. If you wish to stay behind, we will not stop you. But you will miss what comes next. One by one, ships from across the galaxy arrived at the ring. Zerethians, Thiel, Varnock, even old enemies. They didn't come with weapons. They came with questions. And the humans gave them answers. Not in words, but in memory. Connection, feeling, Doctor. Alira stood beside Raylan as the chamber prepared to activate. This will be the end of us, she said. Raylan smiled. No, just the end of what we were. He placed the final chip into the control panel. The minds of 1 million humans merged, the chamber lit up, and then silence. For one long moment, the galaxy held its breath. Then a new voice spoke. Our humanity, we are no longer many. We are one. Form began to appear inside the ring. Not a machine, not a person, something. Energy wrapped in light. A living idea, the first post-human. The galaxy watched in awe, and then slowly. Others stepped forward. Aliens, brave, curious. They touched the core. They offered their thoughts, and one by one, they joined. Not as enemies, not as conquerors, but as creators of something new, from war to whispers. This was not the end. Of the human story, this was just the beginning of the unthinkable future.